Hofstra fans, welcome inside this week's edition of the WB Mason Coaches Report. I'm Tom Brady once again with the pleasure to be joined by the head coach of the Hofstra women's soccer team, Simon Riddiough. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Tom.
Now, Coach, we talked about it last week. You had a big non-conference game, the last one of the season, against a very good Harvard team. You wound up coming away 5-4 victory up in Cambridge, Massachusetts. How was your team able to score 5 goals on a very solid Harvard team?
It's a good question. We worked on, it sounds a bit cliche, but we did work on passing and offensive movement and stuff. So when it does come to fruition, we all like to take credit. I don't think it was as simple as that. I thought we executed well on set-piece situations. A couple of my players were very confident and feeling it, and everything we hit seemed to go in. So it was just one of those great days you're involved in, and to get 5 goals in one half is tremendous.
It was another day where, some of the players that you singled out at the beginning of the season that you needed to step up did so again. Laura Green with a pair of goals, Courtney Breen with a pair of goals. Are you happy with how they're playing and how they're progressing so far?
Yeah, we know Laura's hot and cold sometimes. Most forwards tend to be. But she's working extremely hard on consistency. She's working hard in practice. She wants to be that focal point for our offence, and she's done a great job doing that. Courtney Breen's she's a monster. We know that. I speak about her. As a coach, you just can't underestimate the importance of a Courtney Breen. And Brittany Butts, after taking last weekend off, came back. She's not 100% still, but she gives us some ability in the final third to break teams down. So when those three step up, we're going to be difficult to beat, and we've said that all year. There's no secret to anybody's scouting report. We've got to stop this kid, we've got to stop this kid, we've got to stop this kid. It is what it is, and if those can deal with that situation, then we're going to be successful.
Now in that game, 4 goals scored in a span of just over 5 minutes. Have you ever seen anything like that in your coaching career here at Hofstra?
No, I spoke to the Harvard coach after, and we both shook his head as we were walking to each other. We'd never been involved in that kind of situation. To be 1-0 down at half time, and no real indicator that it was going to explode in that way. We scored immediately after half time to make it 1-1, then they scored 2-1, then we scored 2-2, and then we went on a little barrage and got a nice cushion at 5-2, and then it allowed us to make some adjustments. And I've never ever been involved in something like that, but I'm quite happy I was on the good end of it.
Now, on the defensive side, Emily Morpedis was not available for you in that game, so you had Kylie Schuster in goal. How did that affect the back line, and do you think that had any reason for your team giving up 4 goals?
It's tough. You don't want to pinpoint any one position or one area of the field. We always say defensively we're a good team, but it's not just for defence. It's from the front forwards to the midfield 3. It's a team defence, and that's how we've always played. I thought we had some mental lapses in certain situations. I thought we didn't protect Kylie as well as we should do, knowing her history of not playing that many games and then having to step into a big game. Harvard's a big game away from home. I didn't think we did it particularly well of protecting her. But as a team, I thought we could have tightened up a lot more. I thought we could have been a little bit more organised defensively, and hopefully negate those little issues that can come around from a goalkeeper switch.
Now, how important do you think it was for your team to get the win in this final non-conference tune-up against a good team, and as you've spoken about it, while this team is battling some injuries?
Well, again, it's walking into CAAs with a win behind your back is always a positive. We are prepared. We are who we are now. We might make some fine adjustments depending on situations or players and injuries and so forth. But we've got our offensive network set up. Our set pieces are organised. The way we run plays, the way we're going to attack teams is already set up now. We still have some fine adjustments on defensive stuff. We still need to discuss things with the team and make sure we're organised with what we need to do. But overall, we are who we are. There's 5 weeks left in season, believe it or not. If we can do well in the next 5 weeks, then hopefully we'll move forward through the playoffs, and then we can throw a coin up and hope some things, but again, it's 5 weeks and it's a long 5 weeks, and you know, it's going to be a battle as always in the CAA.
You mentioned the CAA as your non-conference slate ends. Your CAA slate just begins, and you open it up a big test against a team in James Madison, a team who you beat in the regular season last year, but then fell to in the CAA title game. You know, how much are you as a coach, or at least how much do you know your players are looking forward to getting another chance at this James Madison team?
It's always a big game, James Madison. You know, over the last 10 years, I think us, them, and Willem and Mary have been the three most successful programs consistently, and because of that, it breeds a rivalry and it breeds a competitive environment. Obviously, last year still fresh in some of our players' minds. You know, we did ever so well all the way till that last game, and I thought James Madison came with a game plan and neutralised us and deserved the win. So in that situation, it's always hard to take. I have the deepest respect for their coaching staff. I think they're good people and they're gentlemen, and they do the right thing by college athletics. I like to believe we do the same. So I think it's a healthy competition. Would I love to win? Yeah, without a doubt. And I'm sure our players are really biting at the bit right now. But it's going to be a battle, and I'm glad we're home. I'm glad we've got you know, James Madison, first game of the season. It's going to be a good crowd on a Friday night, and it's going to be an exciting situation. And hopefully, the previous games we've played has prepared us for a James Madison-like game.
Now, a story for your team this season has been losing some players to graduation. James Madison also lost, you know, arguably their best two players, Teresa Rainier in that center of midfield, and their goalkeeper, Diane Rosalik, who had been a rock for their team for 4 years. What do you see still, though, from this James Madison team, still capable, tied Maryland 0-0, the number 3 team in the nation earlier in the year?
Well, again, Dave Lombardo's teams are always going to be athletic, they're going to be physically imposing, and they're going to be well coached. You know, I know what to expect. They're going to be athletic, they're going to be organised at the back, they're going to make it difficult, and they're going to be intelligent players. Yeah, they probably don't have the Teresa Rainiers or the Wozlik in goal, but nor do we. We don't have Uvinos or Tadics. It's you know, it's going to be probably a bit their game plan's probably going to be similar to ours. We're not as talented, but hopefully the team effort and team ethos is good enough to get them through, and I'm sure that's what they're thinking. It's going to be a battle, it's going to be a great game, and I expect nothing less than from James Madison.
Now, obviously, with the graduation of these players, you do have some younger players in the lineup. You know, what is going to be a challenge for you as a coach to make sure some of these young players aren't going into their first maybe conference game, a big Friday night home opener for the conference slate, with some nerves?
Everybody has nerves that first night, including myself. You know, you're just trying to make it, not minimise the game as much, but you know, it's the first game of 11. It's not, you know, it's not a make or break game. It's not a one and done. Most of our kids have been in that situation where they lose, they go home. So this, although it's important and we know the importance of it, they know win, lose or draw, we've still got 10 more games. We win the next 10, we're still winning the CAAs, most likely. But again, we take it one game at a time. James Madison, they're going to be a battle, and then VCU on Sunday is not going to be any pushover either.
Now, obviously, you know, you've always said you don't like to look too far ahead to other teams, but Sunday you do have VCU. How is it different playing a team like James Madison, who's expected to be at the top of the conference near you, versus a team like VCU, who's maybe trying to make that mark on their season, one of picked amongst the lower teams in the preseason standings, trying to knock a team like you off?
Yeah, I think it's a scary coaching situation to underestimate any opposition. VCU, they're well organised. They gave us fits back when we played them last year. We got fortunate with a couple of goals, and then we could coast a little bit. They're going to be big, they're going to be physical, they're going to be strong, they're well coached. Tiff and Tim have done a good job on the coaching side. They've got a couple of younger freshmen coming in who are highly touted. You know, you want to compete for the first game, and then hopefully reorganise yourselves and readjust for the second game in that one-day turnover. It's not going to be easy. It's a Sunday afternoon game. They're always ugly games. It's it's a war of attrition at that stage. Hopefully we've just got enough to get through it. But I'm sure BCU will be looking at the other side of it. Let's cause an upset. We've got North Eastern and Hofstra away. It's a tough road trip for anybody. But let's get through this, and hopefully we can get one win out of the two. And if it's Hofstra, then great. If it's North Eastern, it's great. So we'll see.
And of course, you guys get to open up the season at home, where your team has really been truly dominant over the past couple of seasons. How important is that going to be for your team to hopefully get the start right off in front of the home fans with some success?
It's definitely helpful. We've got a level of comfortability. We played one game at home this year, and we didn't fare too well, so you can't take that for granted. But we're comfortable at home. We know what to expect. I think the preparation, I think our players do a very good job of preparing the same way at home, without me watching over them. I think the travel helps. We don't have to travel anywhere. I think the cold weather might help. If it stays as cold as it has been the last couple of days, I think it works in our favour. And we're used to the surface. It's a good surface, it's a quick surface, but it definitely helps us because most of our conference plays on grass. So this weekend we've got an advantage because of that. But when it comes to 11 players against 11 players, those advantages are very minimal, and anything can happen in the game of soccer.
Now, you've spent all this time preparing. You went through the non-conference slate. Now your team's ready for the conference slate. What do you see as maybe some of the biggest keys going into this weekend to come away with a couple of victories?
Well, again, we have to hope that the three players we mention all the time step up, and hopefully 2 or 3 of our fringe players will be effective and countable. To be fair, Brooke Bendenagel and Brittany Farriella have been awesome this year as a central defensive partnership. Is something I was hoping would actually happen, but I didn't expect it to. And they've both stepped up tremendously, and they've become leaders, and they care. And once you've got 2 central defenders who have been playing so well, it's a nice foundation to build upon. Obviously, Emily in goal special. She's going to be difficult to beat from anybody. And then it allows the Courtney Breens and Brittany Butt some freedom to go forward when they know that foundation's there. So again, it'll be a team effort. The girls will have to work hard. There's no excuses. We can't take anybody for granted, and hopefully, if we do the right things, good things will happen. But as we know, that doesn't necessarily occur in college soccer or college sports in general. But I know the girls will be prepared, and I know they'll do everybody proud, and from then on, everything else is gravy.
All right, Coach. Well, thanks for joining us, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much, Tom.
That'll do it for us this week inside the W. Mason Coaches Report.
I start